Sure, you tune in.
Hello and welcome to the Diva Talks Live Show. I missed you guys, but I hope you enjoyed last week's show. It was totally awesome. Tonight's guest is a family member by marriage to me, but she is an author and she is a photographer and she resides where I just came from, and that is in Maryland. Welcome, Simone. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with me tonight. Now, Simone, I know everything that you have done and that you are doing, but some of my studio audience and my virtual audience may not know who Simone is. So tell them who you are.
My name is Simone Bowden. I'm a photographer. I was the photographer at Death Row Records. I grew up in Buffalo and moved to Cali and started working with the record companies. I'm a celebrity photographer.
Awesome. Now, when you say celebrity photographer, this story about this celebrity photography, you've done some stories and you wrote a book. What's the name of your book? And tell us a little bit about the book.
My book is called Time Served on Death Row Records. It's available on Amazon. I used to work at Death Row Records. I was the chief photographer. I've been a photographer for the last 40 years, and I've worked at many record companies, Motown Records, Capitol Records, Solar Records. I was working in the music business when we had Shalimar and Jody Watley, and the beginning of Suge Knight's career was at Solar Records.
Wow. So you work with the best of them. Now, you mentioned some names in there, and just the title of your book alone, may have some people wondering, and I want them to purchase the book, so I don't want you to give away too much. But you went through some things when you were doing photography with some of these people. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, when I started out in the industry, I worked at Soul Train. And working at Soul Train, you only worked every weekend. You're lucky to get paid. Okay. So then you move on and you start to make a name for yourself. And I was at Capitol Records working. And then the big break came when I started working at Death Row Records, but not knowing that it was going to be it was going to be a vacation, an experience that you would never forget. When I say that, because they took care of their people, but they wanted to own their people. So I tell that story.
So now you tell the story in the book, and I've read the book. And once you told the story, how did you feel about putting that information out there about these people?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to you and yourself and your family, you have to take care of yourself. And I'm still waiting on the police. They haven't showed up yet. Wow. So with that being said, I had to tell somebody, so I might as well tell everybody. I'm not going to tell one story and one another. They left me marked for the rest of my life. Every day I wake up, I have to think about Suge Knight or Death Row Records, because that's the way it left me. So if I wake up wherever, they left me marked for the rest of my life.
But you're still doing photography. Now,
I'm still a photographer, girl. Yes, I do daycare centers. When I say daycare, those are the babies that's the little ones coming up. And then I still do headshots, comp cards. And right now, my collection is going to be going into the African American Museum in Washington, D.C.
Awesome.
It started with just one picture. And then they saw everything. So everything is going to be going in under the hip hop section.
Nice. Now, because I know you work with Snoop Dogg, you work with Tina Marie, and the likes. How was that whole experience? I know the Suge Knight experience has left you marked, but how was the experience with some other people that you've worked with?
Well, I started my career with Houdini. That was my very first job, was Houdini. And I worked with Houdini for a long time, just growing up. You know what I'm saying? As you grow into your career. Then I moved on I worked with the Temptations. The experience, all of it was a learning experience, but you learn how to be your own boss. That is what I really learned, is how to be my own boss, to handle my stuff. You don't never let nobody handle your stuff. You handle your own stuff. So that's where, like, even when I worked at Capitol Records, in certain places you get a check, and in other places you get like perks, like pictures published in magazines if you work for a magazine. That was the beginning, when they don't want to pay you nothing, but you trying to get your name out. But what I realized is that when I started taking pictures, I was marking a time. I was marking the beginning of the culture of hip hop. I was recording it live on my camera. And from the beginning, when Snoop did his first show to when Melvin Franklin did his last show. I photographed from Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard. The list goes on, but it was all a lesson. Every artist that I worked with, they were my friends more than my client, they were my friend. I worked with Tupac. Tupac was really, really nice. He really
That's what I hear. He was a very
really
nice guy.
nice, and he was very polite. A lot of people have problems with people. People to me in the hip hop industry get a bad rap, because never in 100 years do we think we would have saw Snoop and Martha Stewart together. But that's Snoop's personality. He's that kind of guy. He has his swag. It's like that. But yes, it was an experience.
Awesome. Now, do you still keep in touch with, some of the people that you work with?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Well, a lot of my folks have died.
Okay.
And then I have a lot that's still alive. Now, I do talk to people from Motown a lot. I talk to people. I'm going to tell you about the music industry. When it comes to the change of people, like who's in charge of this and who's in charge of that changes so fast in the music industry, it's really hard to keep up with. So what you do is you just worry about yourself and keep your work coming in. You just make sure the quality of work, when people hear that you're around, they want you because they know that your work is good. But keeping in contact is really hard, because so many people didn't die. I worked for Gerald Levert. Okay, I did work for Gerald Levert. It hurts me to my heart sometimes when I go through my collection and I see people that I photographed and then I hear no more. Mm-hmm. Tina Marie, that was a heartbreaker. Now we got X from Houdini. That really, really took the wind out of me. That knocked the wind out of me. With X. But yes, I worked with them for a long time and still stay in touch. The thing is, friends that's been around a long time, you talk to them. If you don't talk to them, they wasn't your friend. I was Yo-Yo's road manager. I talked to her every other day.
Wow.
To this day. So it's just, but you automatically know when you start getting up in the industry, nothing stays the same.
That's
nothing.
True.
I don't care how it is. My first husband was Tony Green. He was a bass player for George Clinton and the Dramatics. That's how I got all caught up in the music industry, because I could not sing or dance, but I took good pictures.
Okay.
And that's what got me through the door. That is the whole beginning. That the start of my career. After my father put a camera in my hand, then I got with somebody that was in the music industry that really wanted me to sing, but I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. I didn't have it,
You stayed
So
in your lane, and photography was your lane and still is your lane. Now, I do know photography is coming back. Cell phones seem to have taken over for a little bit, but now I'm starting to see that photography, the real pictures, the real camera, people are taking headshots and doing things with that. What is your advice to someone who is trying to become a photographer and even a celebrity photographer? I mean, you've given a lot of nuggets with what you said already, but give us some advice of what you would tell them.
As a photographer, I used to teach photography to 4th and 5th graders in Baltimore. And you have to start from the beginning. You can't jump up and pick up a digital camera and say, I'm a photographer, because you don't know nothing about photography. You have to start from the beginning. And I tell everybody, just go to a dark room, find a dark room at a college and go through that experience. Then you'll really appreciate the digital. Because see, what we used to do made it a little bit more difficult in the beginning. But I went on, and I have a bachelor's degree in photography, and I just kept pushing. As a woman, it's not easy, because we as women, we have to work 10 times harder than a guy. And guys, when it comes to, even when it came to publishing the book, my husband and I published the book, and we got recognition like a major publisher had did it. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
It went to #1. It was #1 on Amazon 3 years ago.
Give us that title once again, Simone, because people need to remember that title. What's the title of the book one more time?
The title of the book is Time Served, My Days and Nights on Death Row Records.
Y'all got that, right? Trust me, it's a great read. It is a great read.
Most people don't remember who artists are, and then when you read my book and you see some of the pictures that's in the book, you start saying, wow, I remember this person. The girl that wrote the foreword, and I don't think you might know who she is, but your husband will. But okay. Nikki D was the first female rapper on Def Jam Records. She wrote the foreword in my book.
Oh, interesting. Okay. That part I didn't know. Now you talk about this book. Now, do you think you will write another book?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna write another book. I recently lost my mother. Yes, and I had said I wouldn't work on the second book until after she was gone. But the book is gonna be called 42. Because my husband found me 42 years after we were separated as kids. So I'm going to tell the story about coming from Buffalo, and he went to Florida, and then how after 42 years we came back together.
Wow.
And it's good. It's a good one. But everything takes time. It took 20 years to get the Death Row book out.
That is amazing. Well, it's a great read. I enjoyed every single page. It had me on the edge of my seat, and I was even scared. So I can only imagine, how you're feeling. What's going on with you, Simone? What do you have? You have the book coming up. You're still doing photography now. With the photography in the younger generation, is it a big difference, or is it the same?
No, because the younger generation thinks that they can take some good pictures with their cell phones, but they really can't. So once they get past that hurdle, it's some young people that's from here in Maryland that are good and have gotten recognition. But guess what? They don't use digital cameras. They use film. Or they're using cameras that break down, like the lens come off. They're not point and shoot cameras, more or less. A point and shoot camera is a little bitty camera you pick up, you take a picture. You can't adjust the way the light comes through the lens. That's what they're coming along, but they have to come out of the digital, off the cell phone. That's the thing, cell phone. They love the way the pictures look because you can manipulate them so much.
Right. Filters all day. Filters all day. Now, we went through this thing of COVID and nothing was going on. So I'm sure people weren't taking pictures during COVID. How has COVID affected you on the downslope? And is it picking up? And, talk about COVID and what it did for you.
Well, let me tell you something. I did a little shoot with, I did a little test thing with my grandkids on to do where there would be no contact with the kid and take pictures outside. And it worked so well that the daycare centers, I've been working for the daycare centers. So I kind of haven't missed no beats with them.
Oh, right.
Because they can, like, they have either a big open space and you do a green screen and then we put whatever background they want to put in it. And it made it much easier, but you were able to keep yourself alive with it. The daycare centers is what's been, they were closed for a minute and that kind of put a damper on it, but that was the first thing they opened back up. And luckily I had already made my little contacts at the daycare centers.
Nice.
But
so now,
it's nothing going on at the entertainment because I mean, what was coming down the pipeline was the pictures, the whole collection would go into the African American Museum. They would do that process and then go from there. Everything has been closed down. Everything that has affected everything that we've had planned. Everything. The pictures are waiting to go in, and people don't really understand that everything is a process. Everything is a process. So I just been patient. I think patience. COVID has taught me to be patient.
I think you and a lot of other people.
And reset our lives. We are resetting our lives. Yes. And people don't really realize it. It's a good thing. It kind of is good because you're getting rested up, you're getting the right nutrition in you, and you get a chance to think out how you're going to go forward with your life. Because I did not see this coming. I did not. I mean, I'm one of those people that think they know everything, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can do this, go do that, go do that. I did not see this coming. It did put a wrench in my works, though. It did put a wrench in it.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a breather. We all had to take a breather, and we didn't realize that we needed to take a breather, but I don't think we felt we needed to take it this long. And for me, it was the not knowing, like, what's next.
Oh, right.
The vaccine. Since we're talking about it, what's your thoughts about that?
Girl, let me tell you something. I'm going to take the doggone vaccine because I'm tired of wearing a mask. So I'm going to wear the mask. But I'm going to take the vaccine so I can get my husband out the house.
Okay.
Because he don't want no part of this COVID.
Okay.
And we've been sick. We were really sick. And it's not easy when it's two people in the same place with the COVID.
Absolutely.
So we made it through, and we are kind of sheltered down.
Okay.
Because, I mean, really, tomorrow's not promised to us. We know that now. But at the same time, it ain't promised the next 20 minutes.
You're right.
This COVID thing. Because I'm telling you, when we found that out, we were like, oh God, is this the end? So you start preparing because you think it's over. You don't know what's going on. And you're right. It's the unknown. It is the unknown but I'm telling you, I'm tired. So I'm going to get the vaccine. I don't like shots, but I'm going to do it.
Well, awesome. Well, I talk about telling people.
Wait. I wish I could show you something. I made this mask, girl. It says back up. I mean that. Back up.
Well, I normally talk about my mug that I have every week towards the end of the show, but since you brought that up, this week's mug says, "Don't stand so close to me," and I brought this because I was I went to Maryland for I surprised Diamond this weekend, and we were in the airport. And honestly, it was no issues at all. We were on a plane going down that they said held 186 people. There were only 81 of us, so we were able to spread out. And I felt comfortable. I had my mask and I had my shield on, so I did. I felt very comfortable. I took a COVID test before I went and before I came home, so I feel real good, and I'm taking care of my father-in-law, as you know. And so I just wanted to make sure that everything was good, but don't stand too close to me. So I get the whole backing up thing. But as I was saying, back up. I tell people to find your happy space and stay there. I know you have a grandbaby, and I know that's your happy space. Let's talk about your grandbaby.
Girl, we have 4 now.
Ooh.
We went from 1 to 4. We got 2 boys, 2 girls, but we got one girl that's with us a lot. She want to be on TV. She want to be a scientist. She told me she gonna be a scientist. But she's so smart, So you gotta meet her. You gotta meet her.
I can't wait.
We try to get her to come out when we come to Buffalo, but Mitch, he ain't been there in a minute because of this. It's been a year.
Wow.
He won't go outside.
He's not by himself though. It's a lot. It's opening back up, but I get the fear. I get it, but we have to take a step in that direction at some point.
Right. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna do all the stepping in. But
wow.
Yeah, she's gonna be 8 on her next birthday, and I'm like, golly, she went from a newborn to 8. When did those years go by? So. But she gonna be something in the business. I don't know what it's gonna be, but she gonna be something.
Now, does she pick up a camera a lot when she sees? Does she pick a camera up and try to take pictures, or does she like being in front of the camera?
She is the poster child for my foundation called Kids with Cameras. She photographed the Temptations at the Capitol on the 4th of July, and when I tell you that they all want the picture. I have the picture of her taking their pictures while they were performing on stage. Now she's very good. She, in the beginning, when she was like walking, you know how them toddlers are, we gave her a sponge camera. And we went from a sponge camera to a digital little point and shoot. And she's really pretty good. But now she's into Yo Job. She wants Yo Job.
Okay.
She wants to be the host of her own show.
Do it, baby.
It's called Nora's Corner. You got to pull it up one day, and pull it up later and look at Nora's Corner. You're gonna be like, oh my God, yeah, she wants to do stuff like that.
That is, awesome.
What is it that kids do with the toys? They see if the toys are worth having. Critique a toy. She loves to critique toys.
Awesome. Now you mentioned a foundation. Give us that name again. The foundation and what it's about.
The foundation is Kids with Cameras, and that's what we're putting together now. We want to put cameras in kids' hands that they can document their life for like 90 days, and then they'll send their film to us, but keep their camera. The camera is going to be theirs to have, and then they'll have extra film, but they only have to send us 3 rolls of film. Each month, they will send a roll of film. Once everything is together, we'll be sending the cameras out. You get a camera, you have your 90 days worth of film. You send us the film back. We process the film, and we put the show together in your area where the particular photographers are. We're going to do it in different regions of the country.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. So it doesn't have to just be in Maryland. It could be anywhere.
No, it's going to be in different regions like Buffalo. I want to do it in Buffalo. I want to do it in Vegas. I want to do it in Los Angeles. I did it in Atlanta. That's where I first did it. And it wasn't no foundation. It was just called Kids with Cameras. I gave 63 cameras out. Ooh. We only got 16 back. But they documented the Martin Luther King holiday one year in Atlanta. And it turned out so nice, I decided to take it to another level. And now that I'm getting old, that's what I want to just direct to teach kids photography. I want them to learn because they took that from them. at the schools, kids don't learn no real
Right.
art.
Right.
So I taught them how to use the GoPro camera in Baltimore. I taught them. I was teaching at 3 different schools a week, teaching 4th and 5th graders photography. And at the end of semester, they have shows at their school. And it went over real good. And the last show we did was at Morgan, where Diamond goes to school.
Yes.
At. They do something there every year through the Baltimore School District. I did it for 3 years. But yeah, that's where my whole thing is going towards the kids now. Forget the grown folks. They ain't gonna act right.
Well, what if somebody wants you to do their wedding or their reception, or do you do things like that?
They can reach me at imageartbysimone.com.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Simone, this has really, I'm telling you, get that book. Get the book.
Book is time served.
Time served. It's at Amazon. Amazon.com. And it's amazing. And like I said, we just touched a little bit on what this book is about. But baby, let me tell you, it is something else. And when she says that it left a mark on her, it physically as well. I just thank you for telling your story. I thank you for spending time with me this evening. I applaud you and what you're doing. Keep doing it, and just keep grinding.
That's my name. Simone Driving By.
I love it. I love it. So Simone, we can find you. You told us what your website is, and we're looking forward to the book. Is you're thinking this book is going to be 2021, 2022, or you're not sure?
We're looking probably at 2023 or 24 because we're still trying to get everything into the African American Museum.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get the foundation really off the ground. I'm telling you, COVID really did a smackdown. Yeah. It was like everybody had a plan for 2020 and COVID said no, but really it wasn't COVID. It was God saying, no, I got something for y'all.
That's it.
Y'all gonna do what I want y'all to do. Y'all not doing what y'all want to do.
That is it. People always say, I wish we could go back to the way we were. No. I don't want to go back to where we were. I want to be better than the way that we were. And I know that this is, it's what it's gonna be. I don't want to go back. I will remember the good times before COVID, but anything after, I want it to be better than it was. You know what I mean? And I know that that's how it's gonna be because I have faith, and I know that you do too. But Simone, it's been real. I appreciate you.
Love you.
I love you even more. Give Mickey. We call him Mickey, we call him Mitch, but give him my love. And again, thank you so much. I will be looking out for everything that you have, and I'm sure that you will be back. I hope that you will come back, and good luck with everything. And God bless you. Thank you so much, Simone.
Thank you, and have a blessed day.
And you as well. Don't go anywhere. Listen, as always, to my virtual audience, to my studio audience, I truly appreciate you. I appreciate you coming in 7:00 every Tuesday. You could have been doing anything, but you chose to be here tonight. And for that, I am truly grateful. I hope everyone is staying safe. Again, like I said, the cup tonight says, don't stand so close to me, but you're always in my heart. So you're good that way. But I hope you enjoyed the show last week. It was our Valentine's Day special. It was awesome. We're going to be doing a lot more things. DAP TV, WDAP Radio. We have so much coming on and coming up. And so just make sure you stick with us. Download these apps. Everything is an app, so there's no excuse. I have something coming up real special. I made the announcement that I am going to be a model for Julia's Boutique. I am going to make my debut for my birthday, my birthday is March the 8th. Yes, that is a national holiday, March the 8th. And I'm going to make my debut modeling for Julia's Boutique. So make sure you look out for that. But in the meantime, remember, if you're not happy, you can't make anyone else happy. So make sure you find your happy space and stay there. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Have a great night.